podcast. Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. I know it's the last one of the week, and I'm still in a state of shock, trying to figure it out what's gonna be next in our lives here, without my friend Jay. Something that I don't know. I'm trying to connect with Caroline, the mother of his child, and figured out what happened, and probably celebrate his life because he was such a great guy. He, as I said earlier, he has done so many crazy things. I remember dancing on one foot, balancing act. Well, this is where I'm at right now, so it's a balancing act right now where I'm at. I remember it was, oh my god, it was what, early 2010, before that, and I was talking to him on the phone, and he was at the airport. He was leaving Heathrow to go back home, and this is who he was, actually. No, he wasn't. He used violence when it was necessary. However, he was running at the airport because he didn't want to miss his flight. And I remember he told me, he said, well, there's a guy that was standing in the middle having an attitude with him, blocking him. So what he did, he just, well, basically gave him a head, bop his head on his, and he got him knocked out to the ground and was able to catch his flight. And I'm like, you didn't get arrested? He's like, no, I did not. I'm like, holy crap, buddy. Like, well, he was in the middle. He didn't want to move. He was acting up. I'm like, okay. But he worked over Europe, and not only for... he was moving into for different companies and learning and teaching people to do other things too, but he was a great solder as well, so he worked on some nuclear submarine as well. And he told me one day, he said, yeah, I wanted to take a picture of the submarine. It's like, no, you can't. And it's like, oh, they crap, that's too bad. He said, yeah, exactly. So he worked for that as well, but he was such a great guy. He always saw life in a way that was very encouraging. He never saw it was doomsday. He said, when crap happened, well, that happened, and move on. You know, that is good, bad, or ugly. Or if you break up with somebody, or if you have a hard time with someone, just, you know, move on. Don't stick where you are. This is what I love with him. He was truly honest. Will always say what he sees. And he had clients that would come for help, actually, because, again, he was a true shaman, not the one you see in some of those appropriation names. Oh, I do shamanism. I do this, I do that. I'm like, no, you're not a true shaman. I knew one who had... how many masters did he learn from? 3 different masters. He had over 21 animals that he could utilize. He knew black magic, voodoo. He knew white magic. He knew a lot of things, but he was here to do good things. He was helping people to have a better life, to really show them the way. He never charged people only for the product he needed to use with. He did clairvoyance. He was doing so much. He was doing readings for people, even through remote, because he could see you remotely. He was very, very good, but he was such a funny guy. He had such a great sense of humor, and as I said, he was a radio amateur, and he loved it so much. I bought some stuff from him from here. He made me laugh, and he was frustrating me, actually. You know that, Jay. He was like, he always tried to find some parts that never exist over Europe that was always here. He always wanted those parts. He wanted the antenna. He wanted some stuff. It's like, holy crap. It was taking so long for me to figure out some of the crap he was asking me to find. It was hilarious, and I needed to find some and send him some, but he always was somebody who had my back. So when you have people in your life who will not judge you, will be there for you at any given time, middle of the night, or not. And as I said, our conversation for me, especially when you're in the US, we are 7 hours different. So imagine that mine were, it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning where we're done talking. We spent hours and hours talking. He was my everything. And I don't know, it's gonna be weird to not be with him at all on this plane, okay, on Earth. But he was such a great guy, such an inspiration to me. Always wanted to do what's best for everyone. Never wanted to skim somebody. You do not cross him at all, but he was such a great guy. Always there to encourage and move forward and being present here. So I don't know. It's when is the last time I talked to him? Oh my goodness, it was a couple of weeks ago, something like that. And I left him a message last week as well, and he never returned it back to me. But he listened to the message. Even he said to me, even if I'm not answering the phone, I'm listening. So I got you. And I'm like, okay, you got my back. But when he was calling me and I could not pick it up, I will hang up the phone in the middle of conversation and I will pick him up because it always been there, always be in my corner. And he could tell me if I was full of shit or not. This is what I love with him. He never stopped it, but he never judged. Even if I was taking the wrong path or I was doing something that wasn't supposed to be happening or whatever the deal was, he was always there for me, and he never turned his back on me. That's what I appreciated with him for 20 years. Remember, I met him in 2003. I thought it was a joke. I thought he was another phony that my sister found, because there is a lot of people who can be phony in this world, and he did not. So it's weird. It's very, very weird. So I don't know what tomorrow's gonna be, but I know the sun will come up tomorrow as usual. So life has to continue, even if we lost somebody that we love deeply, and make them proud. Maybe go crazy for a little bit. Sit down probably at a church or somewhere where you can reflect and light up a candle for them. It is so strange. It is so strange to even think. Nothing has processed yet about the loss and feeling that I got ripped apart. That's what it feels like. But the life of 1,000 is the life of transformation. It's getting the strength, and it is the worst feeling you can ever have, for sure. And it reminds us, the humanity, that we are here to do what we're supposed to. When he accomplished so many things, helping so many people. He helped thousands and thousands of people through his career. He had a regular job and he was doing this to help people. He never charged people, which was amazing, just for the product he needed, but that was it. He never took advantage of anyone. He always been that honest. This is what made him so wonderful, lovable, and is his honesty, is his kindness, even if people at some point were not very kind to him or didn't understood. And he was just a wonderful man. He left with so many things that I don't know what to do. It is shocking to me, and I really love him to pieces, literally love him to pieces, and trying to figure it out, what's gonna be the next step in this world, and continue to make him proud, continue to really represent who he was. And he was such a great guy. He was a great cook too, because he cooked Indian food, and we talked about that too, because when I was supposed to go back over there, we were supposed to have some samosa. Well, my sister was supposed to make the samosa, because he said to me, He's not that good for the samosa, but he made a wonderful chicken curry. He was just amazing cook as well. So that is something I will never experience with him. But he had so many great stories when he grew up in India, because as I said, he was from India. And his first teacher was living next to him, and he used to have a string attached to his toe, and when he had to go over there, he started to practice shamanism and learn all of this when he was 5 years old, against his will parents. They didn't know that, and he practiced so many years. Since he was 5, he learned, as I said, he had 3 masters. Then you learn from, which only you get 1 master, and people were in that world were so respectful of him, amazed of his teaching, amazed of who he had, that everybody shared with him their knowledge and the way they were doing things. But he was such a great guy. I can hear his voice right now in my head talking to me. He was just an amazing person, and I don't know, it's just, we're being challenged from time to time, but that was the last thing I would ever thought would happen with him at all. Losing him wasn't part of the plan, and as I said, this year he was supposed to come and visit me in early summer. That was the plan, to come here. I had the room ready, and for him to come and visit and have fun, because we wanted to visit different area. One was New Orleans. He wanted to go over there, so I'm like, okay, cool. And he wanted to talk to some people into the Indian reservation, and that was one thing too that we weren't supposed to do. So I was just like, okay, well, what are we gonna do next? I don't know, but I'm gonna definitely have a trip somewhere, and remember him in such a great way. My friend Jay, I can hear him in my head right now, which is good, because I don't want to lose his voice. I don't want to lose his spirit, and I just want to make sure that, when we lose somebody that we dearly love, that is like a brother to me, that really impacted my life for 2 decades in such a good way. He really was my rock, the one who, as I said, saved my life a few times, and always had my back. He always had my back, and I cannot believe I'm not gonna be able to share our own mindness, to share everything that we did, and every laughter, and me pick up the phone and just say, hey buddy, here's the latest stupid things I've done, what do you think? It would have been so nice, but I'm not gonna have him by my side telling me crazy things and shaking his head and say, oh boy, what the heck did you do now? But it's I don't know, it's a time of reflection for sure, and continue to move forward, not backward, my friend. I'm not gonna go backward, but just forward, and everything I've had from him, I will continue to carrying what we wanted to do. I just cannot believe that we had so many plans. Actually, we were ready to do some other things together, and as I said, his book was part of it too, because he had so many stories, so many things he wanted to share with the world. And what was his life as a powerful shaman? That was one of the few things. There is only 5 left. We last time we had a conversation about that, actually. We talked about it, and I said, you're only 5 left in this world, and he said, yes, there used to be 10 20 years ago, and those powerful shaman are not some people you see them on the street or just putting some advertising and say, I'm the powerful shaman in the world. Those were people that are practitioners, but they don't use social media, and people know them around. Some people do, some don't, but those guys are only 4 left right now. We only have 4 powerful shaman in this world that can help us. Unbelievable. And they were 10 over 10 years ago. over 10 years ago. There were 10 of those. So it's mind-blowing to think my friend is not here anymore. It's mind-blowing to think of his daughter who loved her dad so much, and she had such a fantastic connection with her dad that I don't know what's gonna happen with her. I have no idea, so I'm a little worried about that too, because I know that she loved her dad very much and he loved her to pieces. So there is so much that he had, and he wanted to teach her. It was starting to show her how to do things as well, because he was a great teacher and he wasn't gonna give it to her, pass it on to her. Everything he had, all of his knowledge, everything. So I am shocked. I don't know what to think about everything, and we need to adapt. We need to adapt to the new season, but this season suck in one way. Not having him in our lives gonna suck, because not gonna be able to really show us that crazy madness of where we are, show us who we truly are. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow will be, but I do know that with Djeradj of this world, I don't know if it's going to be a better place here, but I do know on the other side he's going to watch over all of us. But still, his presence has been so impactful, and I can still hear him in my head, which is good. Thank you, my friend Jay, to have been part of my life for 20 years. 20 years of fucking madness. Oh my God. We've gone through so much. With him and me, it's like unbelievable. The bond that we had is unbreakable. So I do know you can hear me, my friend, and I will find a moment, because we're under a snowstorm, my friend. and it's pretty high. I'm gonna stay even one Lulu, even I can lose Lulu in the snow, telling you how high it is. That I'm gonna take the time to go to church and just light up a candle for him, because he deserved so much more. I love you, my friend, and anyone have lost somebody, think about what they brought you in your life, because we always think about it's in time like that we really think the people that we really love and who impacted our life in such a positive way. I love him so much and so dearly that for me it always been I think I don't know, I never saw him be gone. Now I would have given him 20 more years of his own craziness and madness, not now. So I don't know, universe had a reason for that, and sometimes we don't ask, or if you ask, you're not gonna get an answer from the universe. But I do know my friend Jay is always gonna be part of my life, no matter what. And I'm gonna make you proud, my friend. So for everybody who lost somebody, it is maybe the least things ever when we lost somebody. And then we want to remember them in such a positive way, and I will always remember him in a positive way. He was a wonderful man and a great father. He loved his daughter very much, so I have thoughts for her as well, because I know she's gonna miss her dad and not being able to grow older and continue to learn from him. And I know his love is limitless, but still it bites. So it's just devastating. Yes, devastating. Oh, this is for you, Jay. Actually, this is the. I did this one in December 2027. I wrote it down. And I'm gonna read it. Through our lives, we open our heart and learn unconditional love. The love that is so powerful that even death cannot break. As we're going through life, we are faced with the prospect of losing a loved one. During those heartbreaking moments, we are reminded how precious life is. Sharing a meal with them, becoming a beautiful communion. A simple word of kindness can be so powerful as to remind them how much we love them, how much we feel love and invincible. Every moment counts, every gesture, touch, and smiles are more precious than gold. But when the time comes and we are faced with the harsh reality that it's time for them to go, we are finding ourselves fighting against the emptiness, the painful heartache. Our brain is so overwhelmed we cannot fully process or comprehend what has just happened. Our brain, to protect us, will put ourselves in a safety mode. We are in slow motion. We are numbing ourselves. We are feeling like we are in a horrible nightmare and we're going to wake up. It will take a few days, weeks, or even months before we can process it. Emptiness is the feeling in our heart. We are trying to fight this feeling very hard. As we are moving slowly through the different phases of our grief, we are now having to learn to live without our loved ones. We can still smell their perfume. We are missing their touches, their laughter, their silliness. Everything reminds us there is something that will not change, and that is the love we have for them. You feel in your heart that you are still connected with them. You cannot see them, but you can still feel them around you. You are even paying attention. You can even hear them, like I just did with Jay. Love you, my friend. Healing can take months, even years. You need to go through the different phases to heal. It's not forgetting our loved ones. They are waiting for us on the other side. They are watching over us while we continue our journey. Our loved ones are always by our side in what called a different dimensions. They have left their human body, but their souls are back home. One of the biggest things I found when I was healing after the loss I had was to speak. Yes, speaking with my closest friend. I share stories, funny stories I had, a lot of them. I also took the time to find the picture I loved the most and kept them in my phone. If I felt I was going to go down the negative path, I just look at them. Something that maybe this will sound strange for some of you. When I am at home, I frequently speak with them loudly. I know they can hear me. Also, they are next to me. I accepted the fact they had to move on. Even if I cried a lot and my heart is broken at 10,000 pieces, I knew it was time for them to go. One thing that made me angry was the fact that I could not go with them. I was left behind. That was the hardest part for me. I'm starting to close myself to the world, to move out of the phase. I reach out for help. This helped me to go off my anger, to let go of my anger. If you need help, reach out. Do not let yourself drown in sorrow or anger. Take your time to heal. Not everyone will understand, but the people that know you will understand and stand by your side. Unconditional love cannot be shattered. It is a bond that will sustain time. Celebrate your loved one. Share the love you had with them so the rest of the world know how precious they were and still are. So that's for you, my friend Jay. I love you to pieces. Up to the moon, back and forth. And I know you will stay by my side the rest of my life. So, all my love. Bye.